Today, we are going to be looking at Gemini text-to-speech, which are speech generation models built on top of the Gemini series. It really rivals the quality of dedicated speech models like those from 11 Lab. But since they are built on top of a large language model, you just describe the effects you want in the speech and it's able to generate those. Say, here we want dramatic movie trailer voice with epic pauses.
In a world where artificial intelligence has changed everything, one API will transform how you create audio content. Gemini text-to-speech, coming to a developer near you this summer.
The beauty is that you don't need any specialized tokens for special effects anymore. And this also gives you the ability to generate multiple speakers. You just describe what you want the speaker to be talking about. And here's an example.
Oh my gosh, have you tried the new AI text-to-speech? It's amazing. Meh, I've heard TTS before. They all sound robotic. No, this one is different. It can do emotions, accents, multiple speakers. Sure, that's what they always say. Listen to this, it can even whisper and shout. Okay, I'll admit, that's actually pretty impressive. I told you, the future is here.
Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to build on top of this Gemini 2.5 speech-to-text models. You probably noticed these are built on the previous generation Gemini, not the latest 3 version. And also, these models are in preview. But they give you a really good indication of the direction in which Google is going with these models. I personally think that in 2026, speech and voice is going to be a major area of focus for a lot of these frontier labs. If you want to experience what are the different capabilities, I'd highly recommend to test out this app. This was created inside AI Studio, so the code is available.
In a world where quarterly goals were thought to be impossible, one team dared to defy the odds. They faced bugs. They faced scope creep. They faced the deadline.
All right, so you can actually test with the different outputs and different personalities with different sound effects. But if you're a builder and just want to build on top of the API, here is a quick notebook that is going to be available in the video description. So first you need a Gemini API key. It's a preview model, so I'll highly recommend to get a paid API so you don't run into rate limits issues. Now you will need to have the Google Generative AI SDK greater than 1.16, and then you just need to provide your API key and create a generative AI client. At the moment, both the 2.5 Pro as well as 2.5 Flash are available for the text-to-speech system. In my experiments, I have found Flash to be actually better than the Pro model. First, it's a lot faster. Second, it seems to stick to the instructions more closely compared to the Pro version. Have a go at both of them and see what works for you. In my own experiments, I think Flash seems to be pretty good at this specific task. So now we have helper function that is going to just play the audio that is generated by the model. The basic use of the generative AI SDK is very similar to what you would do if you are using a large language model. We provide the model ID. In this case, it needs to be either Gemini 2.5 Flash Preview TTS or Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview TTS. And then in configurations, you will need to tell that you want to use the audio modality. Now it is going to generate a response. We take that and pass that blob through our helper function that we created. So in this case, we wanted to say, hello, my name is Gemini. Now there are 2 different parts to this text string. The first is the instructions that you are providing to the large language model or the text-to-speech system, and then the actual contents of the speech. You can naturally describe what the effects are going to be, and the model will stick to it for the most part. For example, here we want to just say it, hello, my name is Gemini, and here's the output.
Hello, my name is Gemini.
All right, pretty neat, right? Now, most TTS systems are able to do this without any issues. But this system also gives you the control to select a specific voice. Google provides you with a lot of different options here. In the configurations, you can just provide a pre-built voice from this list. For example, we can play this.
I am a very knowledgeable model, especially when using grounding. Don't you think?
Okay, so if you see here, in the middle of the sentence, there was an instruction to wait for 5 seconds. And it does stick to it, which is pretty awesome, right? So this gives you the capability to provide specific instructions as the model is generating text or speech. Since this is built on top of Gemini, so there are a large number of languages that are supported. So for example, you can just tell it a specific language and it will be able to generate speech in that.
Les chaussettes de l'archiduchesse sont-elles sèches? Archi-sèches? Un chasseur sachant chasser doit savoir chasser sans son chien.
And through simple prompting, it lets you control the style, tone, accent, and pace using just natural language prompting.
By the breaking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
The author assumes no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in the content of this site. The information contained in this site is provided on an as-is basis with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.
Someone has to pay for the bills, so let's hear from our sponsor.
This is Blink, a new agentic coding platform that lets you convert a simple text prompt into a full-stack application with functional backend authentication and payment. So you don't have to worry about any of the complex integrations. You have all the latest models available on their platform, or you can let it decide to use the best model for a given task, where it does a pretty good job. Here I asked you to create an AI image generator. So here's the UI that it created. Now this is using Nano Banana to create images based on the text prompt. But the best part is that it has native integrations. You don't need to bring your own API, which makes the iteration extremely fast. Also, it added the ability for the users to log in, which is pretty awesome. And for this, they have a built-in database. So you have all the components to ship a fully functional app. They're hosted on their own infrastructure for you, which means you can build and ship a user-facing app in minutes. Here are some other fun things that you can create. So this is a global radio explorer, and we can select different radio stations.
Biden machte der US-Präsident schwere Vorwürfe.
Oh, this is the one that I really like. It's a really great platform to take your idea to production. Do check them out. Link is going to be in the video description. Now, back to the video. And you can also generate speech or a conversation between two different speakers. Actually, I think you can do even more than that. It's going to be very similar experience to Notebook LM. So for example, here there are two speakers. One seems to be tired and bored. The other one seems to be excited and happy.
What's on the agenda today?
You're never going to guess.
But you can also define specific speaker voices as well, which I'm doing here. So in the generation configurations, you can define different speakers and assign them different voices. This is from the list of voices that we saw before. So for example, this is a podcast that I wanted to generate, and here is the output.
Oh my gosh, have you tried the new AI text-to-speech? It's amazing. Meh, I've heard TTS before. They all sound robotic. No, this one is different. It can do emotions, accents, multiple speakers. Sure, that's what they always say. Listen to this, it can even whisper and shout. Okay, I'll admit, that's actually pretty impressive. I told you, the future is here.
Now, in certain cases, it does struggle with the proper effects. Still, these large language models cannot generate good jokes, neither in text nor in speech. So here was a quick example. I asked it to create a comedy show, make the comedian funny and dramatic, audience excited. And here is what the output sounds like.
So I tried to learn Python programming. How'd that go? Let's just say I got 404 errors and 500 problems. My code was so broken it needed a life coach.
Okay, not bad at all, but still I think there's a lot of work to be done here. Now, a couple of other interesting bits.
Greetings, Earth creature. We come in peace.
Indeed. Your pizza is fascinating.
Yes, we will take your pizza technology back to our planet.
Okay, so you have about 30 different voice options. You probably want to experiment with some of them based on your specific needs. Also, it supports up to 24 different languages in speech output. And the good news is that it has support for not only European languages, but some of the Eastern and Asian languages as well, including Arabic, Hindi, which is pretty nice because normally these are the languages that are left out. So this is pretty awesome to see, and I think it has the potential to have a much wider adoption. Now keep in mind it has a context window of 32,000 tokens, not 1 million token that the base Gemini models support. Now they also have some interesting guides on how to prompt this model. Now when you're thinking about crafting a prompt, they recommend the following components. So an audio profile that defines the character's core identity and archetype, then a scene description that establishes the physical environment and emotional vibe, and then director notes that offer more precise performance guidance regarding style, accent, and pace control, right? So these are extremely flexible model, and you can generate very well crafted speech outputs if you prompt them correctly. So here is one example. You have a scene. So this scene is going to be just considered by the model itself. Then director notes which describe the style, dynamics, and then the actual transcript that you want the model to repeat or generate speech for. So based on this scene and the director notes, here's the output that you would expect for that one prompt.
Yes, massive vibes in the studio. You are locked in and it is absolutely popping off in London right now. If you're stuck on the tube or just sat there pretending to work, stop it. Seriously, I see you. Turn this up. We've got the project roadmap landing in 3, 2, let's go.
Now, pricing. So this is 50 cents of input tokens, which is going to be text, and then $10 per million output tokens of audio. The pricing for the pro version is double of that, although I personally have found that in my quick experiments, Flash seems to does the job really well. Now, if you do batch processing, then the pricing comes down to half of the original price. Anyways, it's a really great option, especially for people who are thinking of building applications that are going to be powered by AI, voice, and speech. So do check it out and let me know how your experience with this new Gemini text-to-speech system is. Anyways, I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.